you include this quote from Chalmers. It's a very succinct quote, but I love how it sets the tone for the article, but also I think for how we need to be thinking and treating the diaconate today. But Chalmers wrote, "It is not a small office." And that just underscores the fact that we need to promote the diaconate, and that we need to give the proper honor and due respect to the office. And one thing you mentioned here in this article from 2014 is you're arguing for a thoroughly active office, defined, designed, and dispatched along biblical lines, and that you desire to challenge the church in regard to the deacon's motivational role among the saints. Do you still feel the same way now in 2020, that this is still an important task, and that we need to be motivating the deacons, understanding what the diaconate is properly according to the biblical lines, but then motivating it so that we see more active diaconates within our churches?
Yeah, I do. I'm smiling because I probably understand now and have more experience now, having been the pastor at Covenant Presbyterian Church for 12 years, and seeing our relationship, elders and deacons here, as it's matured over that period of time, as it actually really has developed and matured, and realizing that when I say something like that in an article, and this is something we all have to be aware of, when you say something like that, it's easy to put something like that in print.
Yeah.
And it's a whole lot easier to put something like that in a text or a blog, but because you don't have anybody to to look over it
Right.
and kind of rein you in if you've said something extreme. But while I still believe that and still actively pursuing that here at Covenant, I'm also uh, acutely aware that it's not easy.
Right.
Uh, it is no small office. Neither is the office of elder. And when you start trying to work together, you know, with all the issues that can arise, communication issues, and that's been particularly interesting during this COVID period. We don't see each other as much as we did physically and close. And some people, frankly, don't like texting and emailing and even phone calling as much as they like, let's have lunch. It's much easier to talk through something when you can see the smile on the face or see
Right.
the love in the expression when they say something. And so communication has all of a sudden become much harder. And you realize that uh, we had a joint meeting of our elders and deacons last week, and a question came up about something, and you alluded to one of our elders here, Brad Isbell, and Brad said, "You know what? Yeah, we here's the deal. We just think y'all can do anything. We trust you." And so we just flat out didn't communicate well because we just thought, here it is, the deacons will get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Said we never really talked about it. Now, this was not a big issue. It wasn't a real kerfuffle or anything. It was something that we realized all of a sudden that, yeah, we didn't really actually communicate this the way we thought we did. And therefore we didn't really communicate the way we should have. And largely because we just think we're complements to one another and that you're in step with us, and they were. It was just a question mark that had been left hanging out there because of lack of communication. So, and we know in marriages, in all aspects of life, communication is always important, but it's also always hard. And we don't always find it as easy. Um, and then there are those little things, our tendencies that are true across the board. I have used this illustration forever, for dads and moms. It's important as your children grow up to do just what the apostle says in the book of Hebrews, to stir up one another. Consider how to stir up one another to love and good works. And so we do little things like, okay, uh, I would tell my boys and my daughter, you know, here's your assignment Saturday morning, you know, top floor, trash,
Yeah.
downstairs. And I'd give one of them the top floor. Downstairs, trash, all the trash cans, join me at the back door.
Right.
And we'll collate and we'll take the trash for the week. And so I was stirring them up to some good works and teaching them good habits and involving them. Now, the honest truth of it all is I could have done it much faster and probably much better, and it wouldn't have been nearly as hard for me just to go do it. And that's something we fall into in the church, in the offices. Elders are bad about this. It's a diaconal. It's an area where the diaconate is doing and should be doing, and yet we see it not being done. And so, well, let's just do that. Let's get that out of the way. And it can go the other way too. Now, I'm going to say it doesn't usually go the other way. Deacons picking up elder work as commonly as elders overreaching and stepping on deacon toes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all because sometimes we just don't do our job as elders or as deacons and step back and say, well, wait a minute. While we could do this, but let's draw the whole congregation into this. Let's draw those godly women into this project. They're eminently suited for this. Let's get some of our godly women involved, and let's get some of our godly uh, youngsters involved. I had a question from a 21-year-old not long ago. He said, "Have you written anything, or have you seen anything written on how we might be involved in the church?" And I said, "We being," he said, "being, my age." And I scratched my head for a moment, and I knew I didn't even need to look through my catalog and run a search through my books. I thought, no. I said, no, but hey, look, uh, I'll make a point of this. And so, we need to be aware of that, of bringing all those people into the work. Um, we lament often as pastors and elders and sometimes even deacons that our people just seem to come on Sunday. Ladies go to the Bible studies, men go to their Bible study, coffee shop, whatever. But otherwise, it seems like there's that small percentage that's doing everything. Well, I think that's largely on us
Mm.
as elders and deacons, that we're not stirring up the whole congregation to be involved
Wow.
in the work.